Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your love and finance tarot guidance for the month of September 2016. Now, before I start, I want to thank everyone who's come over to Patreon so far. I intend to put this video up first as a reminder to anyone who's not on Patreon that wants to get on so that you can see all of the extra posts that I do, because I will be putting up the ones for all of the zodiac signs for the month of September. And they're pretty lengthy. They're like 18 to 22 minutes in length per sign, plus everything else that I've done. I already have the solar eclipse for September the 1st up there. Now, let's talk about this for a minute here, because first of all, I probably need some sort of a disclaimer. You know, this is called Love and Finance, but this month, I don't know what we should call it, all right? Just a September tarot guidance, because let me tell you, it's one crazy, crazy month, and everybody's already been feeling all of the crazy energies that are going on. So let's talk about what's going on this month first before we look at the cards that I have in front of me here, okay? We kick the month off on the 1st with a new moon in Virgo. It's an annular solar eclipse. This is the second eclipse in this eclipse season. We had one back in August on the 18th, a full moon in Aquarius. And I know you guys have been seeing so much stuff happening. So it's going to keep on happening. Now, on the 9th, Jupiter enters Libra, where it will stay for about 13 months. All right? And that will affect some new area of your life with where it's at now, or where it's going to be. On the 10th, Saturn will square Neptune. I've had enough of things squaring and conjuncting and all of this other craziness, but this one I'm calling reality versus fantasy. So hopefully with it being Saturn, it's not going to be like a smack in the face, you know, like snap out of it. You know, you're daydreaming over here, because Saturn has a tendency to be a little harsh at times. But we'll see how that goes for everyone. Now, on the 16th, this is our third eclipse of this eclipse season. Okay? A full moon penumbral lunar eclipse in Pisces. Now, when I talk about this one, I ask everybody to look back to last year when we had that Pisces eclipse that was at the anaretic degree of Pisces, at the very last degree. And there was something in your life that just, the universe said, no more. It made it very clear that you were not to continue down that path. But since that point in time, you've been down every highway, every byway, looked under every nook and cranny, going, where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? And I really think that that's what's happening now with this. This eclipse season is where you finally start get it all together, you know, so that you know what you're doing. All right? And I think that things will be much better shortly after. On the 22nd, Mercury will go direct. Okay? It will have been direct at the end of all. Yeah. Let me speak. Let me talk. It'll come out. It went retrograde August 30th, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry about that. Now, also on the 22nd, the fall spring equinox, which of course depends upon, you know, in which hemisphere you live, which season you'll be experiencing. I always feel that the season changes are very powerful times. Okay, I don't think they're given enough credit for the changes that they bring, like the shifts that take place in energy. Also on the same day, this is a big, big day, all right? I like this day a lot, or the time right after it, let's put it that way. The sun will enter Libra. So you're going to have Jupiter in Libra, the sun in Libra, and Venus has been in Libra all along, but will be leaving on the 23rd to enter Scorpio. You know, when it comes to Venus, I mean, Libra was its home sign. And I don't think it really likes being in Scorpio. But Scorpio likes to get at the truth and the nitty-gritty of everything, you know, dig deep, unearth things people don't want to see. It's probably like one of those times it's a good time to take a look in the mirror and take a look at the truth of things when it comes to relationships, finances, all of that. So, keep that in mind. On the 26th, Pluto will finally go direct after being retrograde for 5 months. It does it every year, so it's not as big of a deal as some other planets, but no, nonetheless, it will be direct. On the 27th, Mars enters Capricorn. Now, ask me how I feel about this. I could write a book. I have not had fun, let me tell you. Way back on March the 6th, Mars went into Sagittarius, where it retrograded. Then it retrograded back into Scorpio. You all know the deal. And, it finally made it out of shadow, only to bump into Saturn. Yeah. So by the time this energy shift comes along, late in September, it will be welcome. Whether Mars likes being there or not, it's just like, okay, we've gotten away from whatever has been going on since March the 6th. I think there's finally that feeling of progress associated with business-minded Capricorn, okay? Now, the last thing I have here on my list is kind of like a bonus. There is a second new moon in September, and it's in Libra. So, let's take a look at the card, shall we? As I said, the month kicks off with a new moon. Annular solar eclipse in Virgo. Here we are. It's like the unknown is happening. It's kind of warm today, and I'm sitting here and I'm doing that getting the chills thing, and I'm like, what is going on? We're trying to make decisions. Trying to make decisions, probably even praying about these decisions. Please let me make the right one. Let me choose. I don't think there's as much of a fear of the unknown anymore as there is just the give me a break from the nonsense thing. You know the deal. So it's like, can I make plans? Mercury's retrograde. I need to make some plans. It's a new moon. It's an important new moon. I say yes. Okay. Just avoid all the logical Mercury things. Don't include the buying new phones, new cars, things of that nature. But indeed, work on making plans, because eventually you're going to have the ability to enact those plans. And I see a little bit of a routine change taking place again. All right. And, with everything, it's really a matter of taking your time. This is such a changeable month where everything just basically flips and the winds of change come in, and you really don't know. See, that's the thing. When you're at the new moon on the 1st and, going, I just don't know what's coming. I don't think anybody does. It's that crazy of a month coming up with 2 eclipses this month, a Mercury retrograde, all the other planetary things I mentioned. There's a lot going on. But you know what? It's time to, what's the saying? Take your marbles and go home. There's just this sense of, all right, I'm done with that. I'm done trying. So the feeling that I've been getting is that as you enter September, that big issue that you've tried everything with, and you've been working on it, but nothing you tried seemed to want to work. It's not like a throwing in the towel, but it's just like, all right, we just gotta, something's got to give here. We need a new plan. Something has to happen. So indeed, something's going to happen. That's the thing. Now, also, a little bit here about generosity and not spreading yourself too thin. That can create some difficulties later if you do. Are you guilty of that? See, there's a lot happening here. Things are, starting to pay off for some things, right? So you have so many different, I don't want to call them issues. Let's call them situations, okay? So many different situations. Some of them are going to pay off to your liking, right? That sounds good, doesn't it? Here again, we're talking about the eclipses. Like the 2 eclipses are playing very big roles in your life this month. And I want to say that immediately following the eclipse on the 16th, like immediately, like the 17th, the 18th, right in there, only a matter of a couple days, that you're saying farewell to something that was a major commitment in your life. Now, that does not mean it's a person, okay? When I talk about relationships, commitments, there are many things that one can be committed to. And, it could be your home, it could be a job, it could be another person, it could be pretty much anything that there was some form of attachment. But that's it. Like you've turned your back on it and adios. But boy, this is a good thing. There's something about it that is just good because it puts you back on your own 2 feet. Imagine that. Something that you did has made you feel more independent, more self-sufficient. I'm really liking this. I really truly am. You're feeling very grounded, very practical, very down to earth. Wow. And there's this sense of excitement in the air, but it's kind of like, oh boy. Like I feel like somebody who's hiding in a closet, in a storm, or in the bathroom in the bathtub, waiting for that tornado to go by. And they're like, is it over? Is it okay if I come out? That type of thing. It's like, and then you emerge, right? And success. Like, things are doing better. Man, that's giving me the chills. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, there is such a huge difference. When I mentioned when I was going over the things that are happening for the month, and I talk about that September 22nd, it's not so much that it happens that day, because that's a very, energy-filled day. But I want to say that when you get after that point, after the equinox, things start to go smoother. Things start to feel better. I'm just like, I can't even begin to tell you what it is because each of your situations is different. But I have been feeling this repeatedly now for the last couple of months, that particular moment in time is one where you finally feel like you've broken out. You don't feel so trapped anymore by the situations of your life. It was that particular commitment. I mean, the commitment could have been to an object, whether you had to sell a business, a house, a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? It could be a material thing. It doesn't have to be, an actual person or something. But it was, whatever it was holding you back. And now you're feeling more successful with your choices. There's an important lesson here to be learned as well, is that choices need to be made with the mind and really not with the heart. That's not always easy to do, is it? Really, truthfully. Now, struggles. All those years of struggles. Wow. They have given you such a completely different perspective on things. And along with that feeling of independence comes this feeling of cooperation. It's that feeling. I always like to call it like the stars aligning in your favor. Like if you could wish upon a star. It's, matter of fact, it's right under the wishes. It's there. It's like finally you're working out the details of your life, working out the details of your new beginning. So you had so much to figure out and take care of. And I even think that if you finally get the big thing squared away, which I'm kind of thinking it does. I actually want to call it the big thing. It's happening. Well, that's good. But there's always more because there's kind of like the fallout from the big thing, right? So things to be taken care of. But I think you can deal with all of them once that's done. And you've sacrificed so much in your life over this issue. But the good thing is now is that you're able to be, I want to say, just chill, where, Emotionally, you're not feeling like such a wreck over the past. Okay? Kind of dealt with it. It's like, all right, I don't need to think about that anymore. It's done. And there's this sense of like, got out of there. That kind of thing. Yeah. So it's almost like an escape, but not. Anyway, the thing here is there are still so many details to be worked out. But you know what? You have what it takes. And I talked before about generosity. And you might be feeling good about some things. Something just tells me keep it curbed anyway. You know, even if something like I see the possibility of some good financial stuff coming your way, just keep a lid on it. Keep everything, remain grounded. Remain grounded. There are, I want to say, ways to be creative here in spite of what I like to call the establishment. Any form of authority that, whether it's at your job or the government or anybody, you're still able to let your skills shine through in spite of other people's rules. That's pretty much what it's about, that type of a thing. So this is a very interesting month, okay? Your focus. It has shifted from the losses and the worries of the past to I was going to say something that would get me booted off of Facebook. All right. And anyway, it's like just think of like a bucket list, and like you're just ready to just let it go. C'est la vie. Such is life. All right. And the freedom of closing those doors. Those are big, heavy doors, and they took a long time to close. And you're just so ready to take off and go. It's amazing. Now, let me tell you something. You get that door closed, and this is the part that I really like. I think this is where the possibility of love or finance or big change comes in, is once you close that door. And then something, that thing that's been out there making its way to you, is getting closer. And it's coming your way. It's unmistakably yours. There's a bond of some sort here that has been formed, and, you know, your vision for change, your vision for the future, I'm excited by it, okay? Don't worry about blaming anybody for the things that happened, whatever. Just let it go. It's all water under the bridge. Really, truly. It's time for you to move on, okay? Which is what you'll be doing next month. Amazing, amazing. You've been working on this journey without even realizing it. Like back at the full moon in August, you had a moment somewhere in there. I know many of you who did, including myself, where it was like, that's it. That's enough. That's enough of that. It's time to walk away. So it seemed like it took a little bit of time, because I still see you walking away from that point of that full moon, but you're going to get to where you're going. Patience has gotten you there. I think by the time you reach October, you're going to be feeling that way. A little more I want to say November. Okay. And that's not meant in a way like somebody is bound to say to me, Cecilia, you're pushing things out. But no, I'm not, because, you know, life goes on. It's 24/7. We don't get to a certain point and then it stays the same way forever. So things are going to keep changing. But when you hit that full moon in August and you started walking towards your future, saying, okay, that's it. All right. That was like another part of your journey right there, whether you realized it or not. But I want to say by like Thanksgiving in the U.S., you're going to see some things coming to fruition, which is around the third Thursday of November. Okay. So big changes coming, very big changes. But this month the focus, I mean, some of these situations could relate to love and money, but not necessarily. But the focus is on the changes that are taking place to take you to the next leg of your journey. So, I want to thank you all for listening, and I'll see you here again next month. And I think we will have a lot to talk about, my friends. Take care.